Hello, future ECPA audience. My name is Ran, and I'm working at Manna Irrigation as a remote sensing specialist and data scientist. I'm going to talk about estimating KC on a plot level using remote sensing and artificial intelligence. I want to thank my colleagues, Ofer, Tal, and Shai, for their assistance. I'm going to switch over to the other screen. So I'll start by talking about who we are, Manna Irrigation, what is the problem we are facing, what is the solution, how does it work, and then I'll summarize the presentation and the future work. I'll try to make it high level and concise as possible. If you have a question, please feel free to contact us. So who we are, Manna Irrigation is a startup company. It was founded in 2016 by Rivolis Irrigation. We are about 17 employees. We have a headquarters in Israel with a precision agricultural research team, which I'm part of. Maybe it's the time to say I'm not, like I mentioned, I'm a remote sensing specialist and data scientist. I'm not an agronomist, so I want to apologize beforehand for any agronomy inaccuracy I might say. We have 3 patents and published 7 papers. Currently, we serve globally about 2,000 users with 200,000 hectares, and here you can see the main areas where we have users. What do we do really shortly? We are a hardware-free solution, which means you do not need to install any hardware or any sensor in your field. And we provide a daily irrigation recommendation, when and how much to irrigate, and crop monitoring, which provides maps of like NDVI and etc. This is to have a better water use efficiency for our users. How do we do it? So we use multispectral and radar SAR satellite data. We use weather data and agronomy knowledge, irrigation protocols. Everything goes to the Manna engine algorithms, and then we can provide the services I pointed out. If you are interested, you are welcome to go to our website and see more information. Okay, so what is the problem we are facing? This is a KC crop coefficient protocol. It's a key parameter in irrigation because together with the reference evapotranspiration, we can estimate how much water left or evaporated from a specific field, and then we can adjust the irrigation accordingly. The KC protocols are used at the beginning of the season. They are determined or chosen at the beginning of the season, and they depict the crop behavior and periods. The crop behavior is the y-axis here. It's the KC, the crop coefficient value, and the periods are mainly, there are 4 periods: initial crop development, mid-season, and late start. And it determines how long they are for each crop and exactly how many days after the beginning of the season the periods change from one another, and we call it milestones. For example, this milestone is the development start, this one is the mid start, and the late start. So using this KC protocol, one can rely on it for to expect how his or her crop will behave during the upcoming season and adjust the irrigation accordingly. This is the KC protocols are usually experimentally determined, which means they are time consuming and you need skilled personnel to do that. It's not an easy task to do. It takes a lot of resources to generate one of those KC protocols. Because of that, they are usually regional or country scale, which means if a KC protocol is determined for specific fields of some fields, it is usually used for for the region of the country, or maybe even more than that, because it is not easy to generate using experiments this kind of protocol for each field. Because of that, those KC protocols might be outdated, inaccurate, or irrelevant. For example, if a cotton KC protocol is set in the USA, then it probably won't be adequate for cotton in India. Or if you have a small plot in India, then you cannot generate this specific protocol for your needs, because again, this is experimentally determined and it's difficult to generate. Because it might be outdated, inaccurate, or irrelevant, that can cause a reduction of water use efficiency. This is why an up-to-date plot-specific KC protocol is needed, which means to generate this kind of KC protocol specifically tailored for each plot or each field. This is something that is needed. What is our solution? So our solution is a data-driven approach. We use remote sensing and AI for that. Using remote sensing, we can calculate NDVI, for example, and then we can convert the NDVI for KC with known equations like Tsumi or other methods. And remote sensing can only account for the past and the present, because of course we don't have remote sensing imagery for the future. Using AI, we can collect a lot of data from the past. Then we can train an AI model. We can add more data sets for the AI, and then we can give prediction for the future. So how does this solution work? Like I said, we are going to train, we trained an AI model, and an AI model needs a lot of data. So the data we collected is for commercial processing tomato fields around the globe. So the results and the model I'll show you today is relevant for processing tomatoes. Here you can see the countries, and we had almost 600 commercial plots. And this is the training data, and this is the validation data. Sorry. We also collected many other features like weather and location features and many other features to for the AI to learn the relationship. Okay, I'll move to the methodology. How did we do this research, and how did we evaluate the KC, the AI model? So I will show you, we have a KC from AI, we have KC reference and KC protocol. So for the KC AI, like I said, we had past data of NDVI and features. NDVI actual because it was from actual imagery, and also the relevant features. We trained an AI model. Then we took the features from the 2020 fields, and we were able to give a prediction of NDVI for the entire season of 2020. So for each field of the 2020 test data, we generated NDVI for the entire season. Then we converted the NDVI to KC, and then we generated a KC protocol at the beginning of the season for the entire season. We then use a piecewise regression model on the KC curve to derive the milestones, the development start, the mid start, and the late start, which means the exact how many days from season start the development should start, and etc. That's the AI. This is how we generated AI KC and milestone. The reference AI, sorry, the reference KC, we took the same past NDVI, the actual NDVI, and we converted it to KC. So we have actual KC, which means KC that was generated from actual remote sensing imaging. And then we did the same to derive the actual milestones. KC protocol. We have just KC protocols that are published. We had an extensive literature review, and we used several KC protocols for the tomato plots that we had. So it's not like we used one KC for all the plots. And then we did the same thing, piecewise regression and the milestones. Then we compared the KC from the AI to the reference, and also the KC protocol for the reference, and the same for the milestones. So the results of that study, like I said, we generated at the beginning of the season KC protocol, and we also determined the milestones. If I focus first on the y-axis, the KC values, then these are the results. You can see the AI gave much better results in terms of R-square and root mean squared error, better results than the protocol. If you consider the location, how many days from season start each period should start, okay, those are the points. Then these are the results. The root mean square error here is in days. So this is the error in days, and as you can see again, the AI gave better prediction than the protocol. Here is an example of how it looks like. We have a processing tomato field in Italy. The red curve is the KC from the protocol, from the literature that we found. The black curve is the KC actual from remote sensing imagery, and the green one is what the AI predicted. So we can generate the green one at the beginning of the season for each of those, for each field. So to summarize the solution, how this whole pipeline works, we have, after we trained an AI model, we have a new field, then we collect data for that field, and process the data because the AI expects the data to be in a specific format. Then we use the trained AI model to produce at the beginning of the season, again, the KC protocol that is specific for that plot, that is specific for those features of that plot. And also we derive the milestones. Once it's over, the season is over, we can take all the data, and of course we update the AI model to update the parameters and its coefficient. So to summarize my talk, the AI shows a good crop coefficient and milestones of period results. AI can generate an up-to-date plot-specific KC protocol, which means for each field, we can use its unique features and generate KC protocol specifically for that field. This method is not specifically for processing tomatoes, so it can be implemented for other crops, of course, given enough data. And this is what we are currently doing. And again, we also try to improve the model by trying to update it during the season. So thank you very much for your time. And please feel free to ask any questions or reach out to us in the contact is here. Thank you.